By way of context and background, we're in the very sexy business of making carpets, which is an extremely material-intensive business. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes into them. It's a big contributor to landfill at the end of the life of the product. And it has also been traditionally fairly petrochemical intensive as well in terms of the basic raw materials that are used and the energy sources that we use to run the factories. So in that way, even though we are a relatively small multinational with sales of around $1 billion US a year, operating in 80 countries around the world, listed in the US, we have had a very significant environmental footprint. So we decided from that point on to try to create for ourselves a business that in the year 2020 was sustainable across a whole range of dimensions. And we focused on three main areas of action. Firstly, to reduce our environmental footprint in terms of waste, emissions, water, so on and so forth. We focused on attempting to close the loop on our material flows so that in trying to emulate nature, we would turn to a more cyclical approach in terms of using the waste from the product, the end of life of the product, as the raw material for the next cycle of product, rather than adopting what has always been done since the dawn of the first industrial revolution, where we all take stuff from the Earth's crust, we then convert it into something, it has a life, and it's dumped. It's a take, make, waste, linear model. That was the second course of action. The third basic strategy was to attempt to create in our own team and those around us and engage culture to make the first two things happen, those first two areas real. So here we are 16 years later, and we would say that we're about halfway there to our goal. We have reduced our greenhouse gas emissions in absolute terms by 35%. We're down 80% in water usage. We're down 80% on energy consumption per unit. We're down 80% waste to landfill, and our profits have gone the other direction.